Hello there, it's 8:20. We're at 20 before 9. That makes it time. Check in and find out what's going on with Wall Street, with your IRA, with your 401k. Well, with just about everything that you don't have stuffed in an old sock in the drawer someplace, because it all affects you. Let's go down to the offices of Statler Financial Services, where Phillip Statler is standing by. Phillip, good morning. How are you today?
Hey, good morning, Dave. Hopefully this is going to be the last noisy morning in my office. They're finishing up the other side today. So just one more day of pounding and hammering. So
you got pounding and hammering. I got Meter coughing up along in the next studio. So between us, we're kind of birds of a feather. Yesterday, to set the table, Dow, after we started out thinking it was going to be a crummy day, the Dow ended up eking out a little tiny 27-point gain. Standard & Poor's was off by 30 points, but lordy gosh almighty, NASDAQ down 341.5 points. Your guess is that this is the interest rate situation starting to mess with people's brains, and there really isn't anything that makes more sense to me than that. But boy, are we leaving the text like it's going out of style, aren't we?
Yeah, we are, Dave. I mean, I was reading an article this morning. There's real concern because the next 2 days, today and tomorrow, Mr. Powell is going to be on Capitol Hill doing his semi-annual update to Congress. And so there's concern because we've seen this big increase in the 10-year and the 30-year Treasury. 10 years gone up 40 basis points just this year so far, and the 30 years gone up like 0.5%. So the concern is what's he going to say today on Capitol Hill, and what fine line will he really walk so that people don't think he's going to be raising interest rates, but that the current interest rates that he can justify what's happening in the Treasury market. So there's this fine line he's going to be walking today.
Well, it also needs to be observed, too, that Powell, being an appointee of the Trump administration, now is facing a congressional batch of committees that are dominated by the opposition party. And Powell started out as being a defined monetarist and kind of a tight money guy who's kind of betrayed his heritage a little bit over the last couple of years. It's going to be interesting to see how much the Democrats are going to try to corner him into a loose money promise that he might not be tempted to make just by his own instincts. So there's going to be an interesting exchange because of the change of control in Congress, too.
Well, that's true, but I find it interesting you use the term loose money. I don't know how much looser he can get, Dave.
True, yeah, but whether or not they're going to try to corner him into promise he's going to stay loose might be an interesting question, because his instinct is not to do that. And I suppose the interest rate question probably is the best explanation of NASDAQ. It being dominated by growth stocks, they tend toward working on borrowed money more than the blue chips do. So big interest rate bump on those stocks increases their cost of borrowing to the point where it does mess up their P&Ls more than it does the blue chips.
That's for sure. And let's face it, they've had the most growth in the last 12 months, just for people to start giving back some of that, taking some of their profits.
Well, that's true. But a 2.5% drop in one day, that's kind of enough to make some traders change underwear. So it's an interesting start for the day. Speaking of changing underwear, if you're into Bitcoin, Janet Yellen is not your friend. Yesterday, she was in Congress saying that Bitcoin is an inefficient way to be able to handle money. And with her talking about proposing regulations on Bitcoin trading, Bitcoin fell by like 16% in one day, and Ethereum, one of the other cryptocurrencies, down 15%. The advocates are saying it ain't over, but boy, if you were planning on Bitcoin going up, that's why you've always been saying, Philip, this is frittering money. It's not an investment, right?
Absolutely. It's not an investment. So that's what people need to realize, is that it is a currency. And so, you just need to be careful. It doesn't need to be your primary investment fund. If you want to play a little, dab a little, that's one thing. But it definitely should not be your retirement plan.
This is where you put your lottery ticket money.
Exactly. That's my opinion.
I think I tend to agree with it. See, a 16-point drop in one day. If that were my IRA, I'd be changing underwear right now. Got a whole bunch of reports out this morning. Earnings season, I guess we're kind of into the meat of it right now, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so. It's growing pretty good today. We've got some really household names coming out today. Home Depot reported they came in and beat by 3 cents a share at $2.65. Revenue above estimates. Get this: same store sales jumped almost 25%, 24.5% in the fourth quarter compared to the 19% everybody expected it to do. So,
Crud.
yeah. Now, here's the issue because they're trading down a little bit this morning. They still are not giving guidance for 2021. And so people are wrapping them on the knuckles because of that. They're just not giving any guidance. They're trading down almost 2.5% this morning.
Ooh, yeah, it's kind of interesting. For the last 2 quarters, there's been no penalty for saying we don't know what the heck's going to happen. Evidently, the analysts have had enough of that junk, and they're saying we want you out on a limb, right?
Yeah, we just want to know something. Give us your feelings. What do you think is going to happen? But nobody's, not that many people are still doing that. So the next one we have is Macys, retailer. They actually had an adjusted profit of 80 cents a share for the fourth quarter. That was 12 cents ahead of estimates. Revenue beat forecast. Now they did lose on same store sales. They were down 17.1%. Yep. So they were expected though to be down like 21%. So they're down, not good, but better than expected from that standpoint. And so they're really getting a little bump this morning. They're up a little over 2% before the markets open up today.
I suppose not taking as big a bath as expected on same-store sales is good news for the brick and mortar sector, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's one of those things that they look forward to, and it works well. Hey, let's look at the travel industry. I don't have any futures on this one because it's traded over in London, but Intercontinental Hotels, they reported $153 million loss for 2020. Yeah. So that's for people that don't recognize that name. That's Holiday Inn Express, Holiday Inn, that brand here in the United States. So they did actually they closed down yesterday. I'm sorry, they closed up yesterday by 1/10%. They're a relatively expensive stock, trading at like $5,318. So
wow.
yeah, it's pretty expensive.
What possesses a company to maintain its stock price at an obscenely high level like that?
Yeah,
That sounds like a reverse split.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I guess that definitely keeps the little guy out, right?
Offhand,
It reduces the number of shareholders you have because not everybody can afford it.
I suppose that makes some sense. I used to work for a company in which we had a CEO who said he wanted our stock price to stay stable and affordable. So whenever we got way up into the $40 range, we had a split and it got it back down to around 20. People that maintain $5,300 a share prices just strike me as strange, I guess.
Yeah. Yep. So we got a lot of them now that are up in that thousands of dollars range. So, hey, on the other side, we have Occidental Petroleum. They lost 78 cents a share, which was more than the 59 cent they were expected to. They missed on revenue. So they're trading down today about 3.3%. So they're getting hit. I'm sure energy prices are probably part of that. And then the last one I have for you today is Zoom. Zoom Info, they beat by 2 cents a share, made 12 cents. They're a database provider. Revenue beat forecast as well, and so they're up 7% this morning.
Cool. Now Zoom, this is also the people that do the video conferencing, right?
I don't know that they are, because this is ticker symbol ZI. So this is Zoom Info. So they do database. They provide marketing databases for companies.
Okay, just a similar name to the people that we know for junk.
Yep.
Okay. Resetting the table for the morning, it was an up day on the Dow, a modest off day on the S&P, and borders on Armageddon for NASDAQ yesterday. How are we doing 45 minutes before we open, Phillip?
Well, we've continued to go red, and the red has continued to get worse. I mean, when you and I first started talking, the Dow was green. It's now red by about $16. The S&P 500 is down about 0.6%. And I hate to tell you, but the NASDAQ is following suit from yesterday. It's down about 1.7% this morning.
Okay, that's not quite as bad as it was 20 minutes ago. Maybe it'll stable at 200 and change down, huh?
Yeah, maybe, and bounce off this low at the open, maybe.
Yep.
On the other front, on the commodity side, we've got silver down 0.75%. Gold's flat right now. Crude oil is moving rapidly. It's only up 0.25% this morning, but from when you and I talked yesterday, it's up a lot. It's at $61.85 a barrel, getting really close to 62.
From what I understand, that's largely right now for the last 24 hours or so, disappointment of the fact that they haven't opened the Texas oil fields fast enough. So cross our fingers, this bump is a short-term one anyway.
Hopefully, because I sure would like to see gas prices come down just a little bit.
You drive a much bigger car than I do. I understand that. Overseas markets, Asian rim markets generally up substantially this morning off of reasoning I'm not sure of. As far as Europe, they're following our lead and saying, oh, darn, they're off by a little bit. Just keeping track of the bond and interest rates, since we were talking about it earlier, 10-year treasuries and the 30-year treasury bills are still trending upward by a couple of basis points early this morning. So the upward trend on interest rates is not ending. They're still abnormally low, but they are going up by a bit. Phillip, this is one of those weird times where people need to figure out how to stabilize one's retirement portfolio. None of us expected NASDAQ to tank the way it has over the last couple of days. How do I find you to find out where the risk is in my retirement?
Then give us a call at 863-382-0037. They can check out our website, statlerfinancial.com, and then join us this weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. on Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk 730.
We'll be here tomorrow morning with you as well, Phillip. Thank you so very much. You have a good day, all right?
Well, man, you too.
Thank you. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services, Phillip Statler.
Thanks for joining us today. I hope that your week is off to a great start. Remember, we're here as a resource for you. If we can be of any service, please don't hesitate to give us a call, 863-382-0037. Have a great day. I look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow. Take care now.